Hello, hello, Cancers. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Cancers, we have the mountain, the river, or the bardo, the king, the shapeshifter, and the animal. Cancers. I mean, the bardo is the idea of seeing, like the in between, right? There's all of the different perspectives and just I don't know, just when you really step back from things and you start to look at them from different angles and perspectives or whatever else, things look different. It's why it's so important for people to have an awareness outside of themselves, because sometimes I just think, I don't know, like you encounter, and we're all guilty of this in some form or fashion at some point in time, throughout our lives. But just this, like, oh right, you thought that was about you, didn't you? You thought that my dreams were about you. You thought that my choices were about you. Well, they're not. They don't have anything to do with you. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe there's just this idea of people starting to understand that you have a lot of choices that you make in your life, and they're for a lot of different reasons, for a lot of different people, for a lot, you know what I mean? There's just kind of like, there's a whole lot more to you as an individual than just another person or another group or another whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like being like, yeah, I have a whole lot of interests in life, and they have a whole lot of things that don't have anything to do with you. But thanks for making it about you again, because it's always about you. Do you like, that's just like the energy that I feel, because it just, I see like there's just people like tromping around. I don't know, like, I don't know. They're just people who they every time they take a step they stomp, and it's like, I don't know. I almost get this sense of like being within the mountain and like having the value there, and then there being people like being aware of the fact that there are more people who are seeking this, and the reasons why they're seeking it. I don't know. I've just had like some like journey stories in my brain lately. But it feels a lot like just an idea of like going and finding something and then realizing that other people were trying to find that. But like having to really protect it because, like if it falls into the wrong hands kind of thing. And cancers, that could be something that you're working on, right? Like something that you've had in the works for, 5, 6 years now, and you've just been writing and rewriting it and figuring it out, like figuring out what you need. Like if you have this skill, if you have this gift, but you need, I'm in the Lord of the Rings. I am in the Lord of the Rings. like Gandalf, he was like, we need, the hobbits, and we need the elves, and we need the dwarves, and we need, like the men, and we need, like we need like somebody from each of these groups to really create this. But first we have to go in and we have to discover what it is. And we have to go in and we have to discover it, not only as myself, but as, like this and this and this, because when you gather perspectives and you put them together, you create a far more cohesive story than you do when it's just through the lens of like a character. It's so funny. One of my like favorite shows is The Magicians on Netflix. If y'all haven't seen it, you should totally check it out. But Penny, he's one of my favorite characters. He's a psychic, and he gets really irritated with Quentin because Quentin is like, he can't, like, block your mind, dude. Like, put up your guards, put up your wards, do whatever you need to do. But like, I hate having to hear you all of the time. And at one point in time, he jokes because, well, there's a ghost in the thing, and he's like, oh, Quentin is the best, he's my favorite. And he's like, well, yeah, of course he is. He's a straight white man. Like, that's the only lens you can see the world through. And I just kind of feel like recognizing that there are so many lenses, beyond what the standard lens is, whether you're in, you know media. I mean, I appreciate the fact that like commercials nowadays tend to, like, they've got, what's the football guy that dates the brother of anyways, they've got like all of those football guys doing like Tide commercials now, and like men doing laundry, and they're definitely trying to like evolve the idea of, like everyone should be able to wash their clothes and feed themselves. Like that's an everyone thing, not a woman thing, you know what I mean? But again, just this idea of like when there are conversations that you're having, you have to have them from different perspectives, because that's where you're really going to find the value at. Sorry, that was a really long, where we're at. The king, the shapeshifter, and the animal. But I do feel like there is a sense of decision making around an idea of gathering perspective, and a loyalty to like what that means, like how that affects your character, how that affects your storyline. You know what I mean? Because I don't. Let's do clarifiers. See what else we get. Um, that's okay. I'll get it. You can just leave that there. Okay. The Eight of Wands, the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Moon, the Sun. Oh, love, the Sun and the Moon, my favorites. The Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Cups. Okay, so, I mean, really and truly, again, there is just this idea. I don't know why perspectives is just really coming through, because I just think of like when you have an understanding, when you have a better understanding of like what it is that you're doing, and how it is that it impacts and affects other people, and how other people's perceptions and experiences will also impact your own perception and experience, because that is, like the entirety of a story. It's a whole perspective. But you can't have a whole perspective if you are just existing in a world where like you're the only one who exists in it, and your ideas are the only ones that matter. Because I don't know, now I think of like a think tank, or like a writing room, right? You want to have people who are experts in these things and people who are experts in those things, and then and then when you have all of that information, you can create something that's a lot more just like relatable on a grander scale. Because most people are interested in caveats of things, but then that somehow interconnects and intertwines with everything else, right? It's all interconnected. You have to find that point of interconnectivity. And I feel like you've been very dedicated to doing that. Again, if it's something, I don't know, I just think of one of the people that I work with, but she's been doing like storytelling and had a whole organization around it for like 6 years. And I just feel like, there's a sense of like, I know this is my joy. I've felt my way into this. I experience a great deal of emotional abundance, and I'm able to really move in these directions. But I just feel like there's a sense of joining in a team with someone as a perspective. If you're an artist and you've been doing your drawings, and you've gotten stickers made, and you've gotten some, art hung up in some different galleries around, and you're doing those types of things, like maybe you're going to find somebody that you connect with that really, like they like your style, they can see the potential, and it fits with what they're trying to do, and you're like, you fit in. I get this sense of fitting into something that is like tied into something a lot bigger. The sun again. It's fitting. We're in Leo season. And the strength. Oh, okay. Yeah. The King of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups again. I mean, you have the Ten of Cups and the Sun twice. There's a lot of emotional fulfillment. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of, there's nothing better than being with people who like you say one thing and then they say something and then you go to there and then they go to there, and then it's just like, and your time with those people flies by because you're just here, then here, then here, then here, then here. You know what I mean? ADD in me loves that. But I don't know, whatever it is that you're connecting, whatever perceptions it is that you're pulling together, there's a lot of emotional fulfillment in it. But I feel like there is a sense of you really showing up differently. I feel like you're showing up like, because again, it's something that you've been working on for a long time. You know what I mean? And studying things and understanding things and then practicing them and then mastering them are not a quick process, you know. And any of us who've done anything that we've, you know, like goals that we've set for ourselves, whether you're going to school and you've got to graduate, or you've got, you know, like whatever it is, you know, people that you're working with where you're like, well, I have this skill and you have that skill, but if we put these together, like these are going to, like, this is going to be like the result of that. And it's so much bigger and better when we work together than it is when we just singularly focus on what it is that we're doing. Not to say that that hasn't been a necessary thing to do. I just think that I just don't think that it's going to be necessary anymore. Justice and the Three of Pentacles. Well, again, because it's just this idea of like, no, you've been working on this. You've been developing this. You've been, you know, building your communities. You've been, you know, connecting with people who align with your vision. You've been, you know, like you've been putting in the grunt work. You know, like it kills me when people think that, like when you see someone who's successful at something, it's because they put a lot of work into it. It's because they put a lot of time and energy and effort into it. You know, for me, I think like I've always had a passion of story, and I've always been obsessed with advertising and marketing. And so I understand rhetoric. That is my passion. You know what I mean? However it plays out for you, but I just feel like this idea of like, I've got a passion and I've been working on it and I've been developing it, and I know that like it's just a perspective along the way, but I know that it's an important perspective that needs to be combined with other important perspectives in order to reach its full capacity, if you will. All right, Cancers. The Shaman. Well, the Shaman is letting something go in order to like have a bigger experience, have a more full experience. And I don't know, Cancers, I feel like there's all kinds of things we've been letting go lately. Just a big old flush, like a flush of the system. But maybe that's just what we needed to do, you know? We just needed a big old energetic flush, so that we could really start aligning ourselves with people who we are meant to be aligned with. All right, Cancers, if this does resonate with y'all, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon.